Much easier and quicker way to navigate Microcosm's huge catalog of thousands of titles. Find exactly what you want by product type, subject, author, keywords, ISBN, what have you, and add it to your cart and get a competitive discount. We have built this to give you hopefully a better browsing experience than on some of our competitive B2B portal websites. And you can use this and support a small independent publisher and maybe have more fun and find more things that you were looking for. Not all of the other sites out there where you can buy our books have good, say, keyword searches or subject searches, and our catalog is, I think, a work of art. Like Abby and Daly and Tommy have made it so highly curated, so it's a good browsing experience. I love shopping through our catalog. Anyway, I love it even more with this. So here's our wholesale view. If you click here, you'll get to it, and you'll see essentially this much more dense view of books and stickers and zines and what have you. When you sign up for the portal for the first time, you will have a chance to kind of say what kind of store you are and what you're interested in and what you're not interested in, and that will help inform the search results that you see here, though you can also always expand them to see more. Let's say I didn't really put in anything when I signed up. I just wanted to see a blank slate. So I'm going to just say right now I'm interested in seeing books and zines and decks. And I'm interested in ones that are published by Microcosm. And the subjects I'm interested in really have no limit, but really some of these more than others. Let's say I'm interested in biography, autobiography. You know, we have a ton of self-care titles, and we have a ton of witchy titles. Let's say I'm also interested in queer and trans books. So that gives me a pretty big wide range. If I wanted only witchy, self-care, queer autobiographies, I could click this box and get a very narrow search, but I'm going to instead have an expansive search for any books in your deck with one of these categories or more published by Microcosm. You can choose what discount you're interested in. Most things have the standard discount, but if you're shopping for remainders with a higher discount, you can choose remainder. If you want deep discount books, we've got that. If you are looking for short discount books or to filter out short discount books, you can get there. And we do have some things with no discount, which is interesting, but we will just leave that open. And stock just as like, can you get it right now or do you need to back order it? And then I can also set a retail price maximum, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see what I get. Here we go, a bunch of books. These are organized by, you can choose how they're organized. Currently we have this organized by top sales, and this is all time. So these are our all-time best-selling books in these categories. And you can see some of them have product dates that are earlier, like 2010, 2019. This is like since we started tracking inventory in our system in 2004 or 5. You can sort by product date if you're interested in just what's new or what's coming out. You can also sort by format. You can sort by alphabetical. You can also see what's trending. So this is kind of a fun algorithm that we built where it's essentially saying this is what we're selling more of in the last few months than we sell in an average period of time for this title. So it's not necessarily what's the most popular, but it's like a helpful way for us to see what's up and coming. What is their emerging interest in these categories for stores like ours or for interests like ours. And you can see a lot of zines. A lot of zines are trending, and that is where 2025 is the year of zines. We're finding that true across the board. People are buying zines like there is no tomorrow. Hopefully there's a tomorrow, and we'll all have a bunch of cute little booklets to read. Popular is what we're selling just the greatest quantity of in the last month. So these are all great hits that stores love, consumers love. We sell the heck out of them. Again, a lot of zines, but not all. This one's a book. What's new that we've published? I think this is actually using a shorter time period just for the purposes of this. The problem is this is on our development server, so it's like a mirror of our site that doesn't show all of the new things, but it looks like this was the newest book, the newest zine that came in, Queer Meditations for Dark Times, when we made the mirror of this server. So say we're like, okay, this is a cool new zine. This would work for my store. I would like to get it. I can see there's 33 copies in Portland and 0 in Cleveland. I'm not showing any on order. In real life, on the live site, it would show numbers in all of these categories. And I'd be like, okay, I want all 33 that you have in stock. I'm just going to add those to my cart. And then that number would go down once I checked out. If I wanted 50, I could just go ahead and add all 50. And our customer service people would probably then get in touch to be like, hey, do you want those 33 that we have now, or do you want to wait a week for the reprint on the zine? And we can give you all 50 at once. If you wanted them now, we'd split it off into a back order. You can back order just about anything on the site. And you can also get things regardless of what warehouse they're in. So say, you ordered Unfuck Your Intimacy. You can see we have 142 in Portland, 665 in Cleveland. We would choose which warehouse we shipped them out of, but you can see that we have them in stock, and we'd be likely to ship them out of Cleveland just because we have more there. Also, it looks like we probably have to reprint that book, so there would be numbers showing up in on order there pretty soon, and that would give you most things we can turn around pretty quickly, but just this number will give you a sense of how quickly. You can see what your standard discount is. Your discount is tailored towards the type of store that you told us that you are on onboarding. So, and also towards how much you have in your cart. So like say if you, once you add 100 items or more that we publish to your cart, that discount would change to 52% automatically. For now it's 50 because you have 60 items, and yeah, you know your terms. And you can always reach out to us if you don't. Then once you're ready to check out, you would go to your cart and you would make any adjustments that you want to make. It looks like I had this distributed title from another publisher, so that's why that's a different discount. You can also just quick search other items you want to order, and you can move your items to a wish list if you don't want to finish shopping right now. And you can just proceed to checkout and go and do your thing and get your books pretty quickly. Our warehouses are shipping within the week right now. Thanks for taking this tour. This will all look a little bit different in the live version, but I wanted to show you what our site is capable of and how well you can hone in on your specific areas of interest.
Hi, I'm Joe Beal, the founder and CEO of Microcosm Publishing. I'm also the author of A People's Guide to Publishing, which distills what I've learned from selling millions of books over the past 28 years.
I'm Elly Blue, the vice president of Microcosm. We started this podcast to share what we've learned with newer publishers, so you can learn from our mistakes. Or maybe you just want to learn about the publishing industry.
My name is Abby. I am the marketing manager at Microcosm. I've been here for almost 2 years now. And before that, I was an indie bookseller for a very long time. Microcosm, you might know us from titles such as these, or because you sell us in your store, you carry us in your library, or you've seen zines thrown around, or our podcast or our newsletter. We have a lot of things where folks can find us. But yeah, it's almost definitely because you sell our titles. So we are based out of Portland, Oregon, and also Cleveland, Ohio. We have a warehouse there. Got our start with the punk movement in the 90s as a teeny tiny small zine distributor, but our 30th anniversary is next year, which is wild for a small press. Yeah. So a little bit about this presentation. I'm a person who talks very fast when I'm anxious. So if I'm going a little quick, it's okay to say slow down. I'm not going to dive too deeply into some of the titles I featured because I got overexcited and added way too many things to the list. But I will be talking about some of our current trending titles, the trends we've been seeing for the last few months, especially post-election. And I'll be sending out a line sheet afterwards too with everything in case you want to learn a little more about it. We know you know your customers or your patrons or your readers, and I'm not here to tell you what you should be buying. I'm here to tell y'all what we're seeing, and hopefully that so you can find things that fit your store. We have a very wide catalog, varied and ranging from punk history, DIY, sexual and mental health, bike fiction and space, tarot decks, and like literally everything in between. But it all comes back to one thing. We want to publish things that help readers change their lives and then hopefully change the world around them. So we work hard to make sure we're making books and zines and decks and stickers that people like want, not what we want them to want. So on that note, how's it going? It's a time, to say the least. We know there's a lot happening in the world and happening with y'all and happening with your customers, and Lord knows we've been feeling it. We've been seeing a lot of uptick in spaces and people purchasing things related to activism, direct action, reproductive rights, queer allyship, and just surviving as a queer or trans person in the US or being a person of color. And these things have always been like big sellers for us. That's what we do. We try to give people the tools to survive and help other folks survive in the margins, but it has been such a drastic increase, which is both wonderful because we love that we're here to see and help and like provide these resources for folks, but also it's like, oh God, I hate that we're needed right now. So a lot of the titles I'm going to cover today fall into those categories, but we've also seen a lot of increase in folks looking for escapism and humor and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, let's dive into what readers have been wanting lately. Readers want to learn. It's no secret that we're big DIY fans. That's like a very core punk tenet is do it your damn self, learn the skills, make something sustainable, learn your history. So we have we have a bajillion things in that vein. Some of the ones that have been top sellers for us recently have been making stuff and doing things is always a perennial favorite. I actually have a copy because I use it for everything. It is a DIY guide to just about everything. It's got a lot of really great information about just about everything with illustrations, little zine excerpts, and it's fun. And it's really, it might not show up on here, but it's got great illustrations and great information in the same way that like Fix Your Clothes and Radical Sewing and Your Cozy Life and a few other titles that we have do, where it's just like, oh no, I spilled olive oil all over my shirt and I don't want to just throw that in the washer. What's a good non-chemically based way to get it out of there and stuff like that. Basic fermentation is also really fun. Fix Your Clothes and Radical Sewing is something my wife like reads constantly as a sewist. But other guides that we've been seeing a lot of folks going for right now are things involving nature and the outdoors, as we're all trying to get out of our heads and back into the world and learn the world around us. An urban field guide to the plants, trees, and herbs in your path is really fun and beautiful. It introduces almost 60, I believe, of the plants, trees, and herbs you probably walk by every day. And it includes like their histories, their uses, ways to identify them. And I really like this one because it's like, it's been said that knowing the world around you and knowing how to identify bird calls and plants can help with feelings of isolation, especially in urban areas and cities. Because familiarizing yourself with something just makes you feel less alone. And I'm a person who got like way too into birding over the last few months. If you read our newsletter, you know. And it's just wonderful to be able to look at something and be like, oh, this is grass, or oh, that's mint. That's going to take over everything in a few weeks. Yeah. And in the vein of gardening, We have, if you can see my cursor, this is going to help a lot. Yeah, cool. Garden contraptions and how to make them are part of a long line of zines that we have going on of the and how to make them. These specifically are plus like these are really fun. They're based on Rolf Copley. I hope I'm saying his name right. Early 20th century writings on all kinds of fun things that you can build and DIY and make yourself. And we've got stuff that's like, it's garden contraptions, shelters, houseboats, geodesic domes, like not all just by him, but in that vein. And they're quick and they're pretty easy to read. And we've seen a lot of folks been going for these lately too, because it's just so easy. Oh, weirdly well. Yes, windmills and biplanes. And then if you're into all of this, we've also got a similar series of winter window gardens and how to make them, and and succulents and how to grow them, and houseplants and how to grow them. So like all of these zines that are compact and very full of information to just kind of like help you figure out what you want and how to make it yourself. It's really fun and satisfying. I also wanted to highlight punk women because it didn't really fit into other categories, but learning our history is always like a really deep, important thing for me. And we've just released a new edition of Punk Women, which has a really awesome, this one's a book, not a zine too. It has a really great history of punk through women. And the new edition specifically has 11 new interviews and 30 new profiles, including like Blondie and Nick O'Case, the Pogues, and all kinds of, like, I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, this is so much more information than I thought was out there. And I haven't had a chance to read it all the way through yet, but there's photos, there's interviews. It's a really fun one. I'm excited for the second edition. So I'm going to stop blathering about that. The next thing that we've been seeing a lot of folks want to learn is how to take care of themselves and others. I really hope y'all can't hear the fact that my neighbor just decided to start their lawnmower right this second. But yeah, so, okay. Self-care stuff is everywhere, right? Hey, thanks, Elly. Self-care stuff is everywhere. It is so hard to stop and take a breath sometimes and like just get through, and also help support, like putting your own gas mask on before helping others. And helping others and helping yourself can look like a myriad of different things. We have a ton of zines in this vein. We have decks, which I don't know if y'all have seen yet, but they're very cool. I have the Stress Skills Coping deck on my desk at all times. Not because work is stressful or life is stressful or anything, my boss is in here, but also it's just a really great tool. So the Stress Skills Coping deck, or a Stress Coping Skills deck. Ooh, I love to hear that they're perennial bestsellers. They're such great little, like, I think their price point's like $14.95. They're such great things to just have on a counter for people to grab and use, and Lord knows I use mine. But for those who haven't seen it, it's based on Unfuck Your Stress by Dr. Faith Harper, one of our absolute best-selling authors. And it's got two types of cards in it. It has the survive cards, which have how to tips and tricks and things and reflections to help you get through a tough moment, like, and then you also have the thrive cards, which focus more on sustainable skills and tools you can keep in your toolbox for when you come into stress and how to manage your stress. It's fun because it's a thing you can just keep and have, and like if you're having a moment, pull it and be like, what can I do right now that provides a sense of peace? So, or you can have it to work with your partner or have it with your therapist. Yeah, I really love these decks. We have released quite a few of them over the last few years. We have stress. I also have the boundaries conversation one, which is really great for use with a partner or just figuring out your own boundaries. Kinky conversation deck came out early this year. Unfuck Your Brain deck also just came out. Anxiety, like all kinds of things for management of feelings and conversations. And I really love these. They're so much fun and they're so well done. So yes, I highly recommend those if you have customers who are looking for just nice tools to keep around. Other than that, we also have, stickers to remind you that, pleasure is a human right, self-care in multiple ways. And then we have these zines too that are really wonderful tools. I'm going to have a lot more about zines in just a moment, but some of our bestsellers right now, that especially in the last few months, we've seen an uptick for how to get off social media and still keep up with your friends. Because who doesn't want to get off social media now, says the marketing manager. It's a fun look into all of the ways you can still keep in touch with your friends off the internet as the internet claims more and more and more of our attention. Letter writing, pen pals, actually trying to make plans without, having it be a whole text exchange. Direct Action Handbook is also one that's just selling and selling and selling, and people are looking for it because there are a lot of really great references online for how to protest and how to get involved, but it can be really overwhelming if you're not a person who's been in these spaces before. And the Direct Action Handbook I don't have my copy with me right now. I lent it to a friend recently, but it has so many tools and tips and quick references for, do you bring yourself onto a protest, or how to rinse tear gas out of your eyes, or, how to prepare, how to communicate, what to focus your attention on, how to organize. It's just so valuable right now, fortunately and unfortunately. Next Level Ally is one that I love to talk about because it's about supporting queer youth and transgender folks in your life. Whether or not you're already a great ally, I'm sure there's always something to learn. And then Herbal First Aid is really great. It's assembling a natural first aid kit. It is probably one of our best sellers for wellness markets as well, not just in a gardening vein or anything like that, but it's just how to assemble, pull together herbs and things for either relaxation or healing, and self-care. And then the other one I wanted to make sure I called out today was How to Get Your Period. How to Get Your Period very specifically is one that we've been seeing a lot of direct sales for, but not a lot of stores picking it up because I imagine the topic. It is a guide written by an anonymous healthcare worker for obvious reasons on performing menstrual extraction. The very colloquial way I could put this, which does not cover it, is more self-managed abortion. And this is one that we saw. There was a Reddit thread, and I can't remember the name of the channel right now, but people were really excited to see it. And we all woke up and went to work 2 days after the election, and just orders after orders after orders for this one because folks are using it as a resource or just to have on hand. And it's one that I can understand why stores would be a little more skeptical of carrying it, but there are people out there looking for it. This is probably the biggest. Folks are looking for this information that I could possibly share in this presentation. So I just wanted to make sure I called it out. Elly, hello.
I just want to chime in about this book because it's really close to my heart. I was the editor. Yes. A friend of mine wrote it. I was at the ALA library show when Roe was revoked. And I was texting with a friend of mine, an old friend who is a retired nurse, and we just started writing in the document together. And I was like, will you write this book? And she was like, no. And I was like, what if we write it together? And she said, yes. And then I started a document, wrote an outline, and then she did the rest. But I think the thing that's important about this is it's not like you take it and you go home and you give yourself an abortion. It's about how you can create a community of people that teach each other. It's not like something that one or two people can do. It's something that needs multiple hands, and you learn to do it over time, and you get to know your own and other bodies, and it's skill building. So I just think that's a really helpful and good take on DIY generally. All these things are better when we do it together, but also just wanted to let you know that this isn't a DIY at home abortion kit.
Right. I was trying to figure out. Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to frame that, and when I was talking, all the words left my brain. So I appreciate you. But yeah, it's arguably the most quote unquote important book I could show today in a series of important books. And Elly, thank you for chiming in. I'm really glad you were able to offer that up. Yeah, there's a lot happening right now, y'all. So I want to take a quick second to pivot away from like specific subjects and show off that zines are, you know, they're what we do, they're what we love. We declared the year of the zine, and I know they can be tricky for some stores because like they're very hard to show off if you don't know how to show them off. Because it's like, what face-out displays do you have? So they wind up like this on a shelf, but you can't tell what they are. So if you're still new to zines, or you're learning zines, or you want to expand your zine selection and show them off a little bit more, Make a Zine is a really great Zines 101 for you or a customer, or I think anybody. My copyright here, because I have had to learn zines, crash course in them since starting here, and now I'm just obsessed. But Make a Zine is a really fun book right now. We are really big on zines, especially right now, because they are small and powerful, and since they aren't books, they're largely escaping the notice of censors. They're how we got our start, and we love to spread the good word. So I really recommend having this around. A lot of young folks are learning zines and learning how to make them and self-distribute them. It's got tons of really great information and illustrations about what a zine is, what a zine can be. Spoiler alert, it can be anything, but also how to lay one out. And yeah, I really like it. And then if you're still trying to figure out how to market zines, we have, and since you're here today, you will be getting a free digital copy of Beyond the Bookshelf by Elly, Joe, and Larry Law, bookseller extraordinaire, about how to market them and sell them in your stores and cool literature like that. And we have zines on everything, like everything. If there is a subject you are trying to find info on that feels like it's something we would have, email our sales team. They are brilliant and know so much more about our zines than I ever could, and they will find the right ones for you. And I wanted to plug this for a second. I went to my local anarchist bookshop a few weeks ago, and they had this really cool display that this is just like an old suitcase mounted on a wall that they put zines in from us and other local presses. So shout out to Stone Bread and Books for having zines and bread. But yeah, so you can do something as simple as this. I have seen other stores do like big wall displays or waterfalls, or like record stores, like we just a crate and people just flip through them to see what they want, organized by subject or by author or anything like that. There's really no limit to them. There is no right way or wrong way. I love them. They're so cool. I have like my little stash of zines right now. We have Beginner's Guide to Tree Watching because I'm getting super into nature. The Sober Travel Handbook is a really great one that we have like a full paperback coming out about next season, I think. 50 Ways to Protect Bookstores, because that's something very important. And another one, Final Girl, How Horror Movies Made Me a Better Feminist. Like everything. It's so much fun. We have one that is about how to pack a suitcase for a long trip and plan for that, like everything. Oh, Final Girl is great. I love it so much. I'm not even a horror guy, but it's really cool to see these perspectives on them. Yeah. So that's zines. If you take anything out of this other than we make good stuff, zines are awesome and you do not need to be intimidated by them. So another thing I wanted to call out is that readers have been looking for magic in their lives. I mean, it's not a secret. We do a ton of witchcraft and metaphysical adjacent titles. It can be really great when you don't feel in control of anything to be able to say, okay, I have utopian witch, solar punk magic to fight climate change and save the world, and look at these spells and to dream of a better world and how to make it happen. Disabled Witchcraft is a book that we released last year. Time is fake. Disabled Witchcraft came out, and it's great for folks who don't find the normal witchcraft space accessible from a like physical ability or your spoons, like your energy, things like that. Like it's got some really cool spells and rituals to help you make magic work for you, make things accommodate what you can and can't do. We have so many stickers. I could have just covered this whole thing in witchy stickers. And I could have covered this whole presentation in fun stickers, but I didn't. I was brave. Other things I wanted to call out are the almanacs. I really love the Practical Witches Almanac. It takes your usual like old farmer's almanac and adds a more magical perspective with, moon phases and their applications, planning pages, spells, rituals, motivation, history. I have mine from last year, which was Grow Your Craft. And I like to show this one off because it's just so beautifully put together, and it won't focus, but like essential oils for candle and incense, plus writing page or planning pages. I really love humor nurtures the spirit. So, witchy gardening puns, which I have to do because I now have a captive audience and I love a bad pun. Why was the mint so good at telling jokes? Because it had a refreshing sense of humor. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But yeah, I really love these. This year's theme, each year, the almanac has kind of a different overarching theme. This year's theme is Rebel Wisdom, which I believe was decided long before we ever thought we would really need it. And 2026's almanac, which I believe is just about to go to print, possibly. 2026's almanac is themed around green witchcraft, back to that like gardening and earth and reconnecting with your roots. And I believe the 2026 almanac will be released in August or September, just in time for everybody to start going, oh crap, I need a planner for next year. Yes, so I really love these. I also really wanted to shout out another one of my favorite things. Oh, Kelly, I love that. Zines to be accessible or just dive you back into reading. I bet we could come up with some ideas for that if we don't already have a billion. I also wanted to talk about tarot because I have heard a lot of other folks say that tarot is on the decline after a really big spike during the pandemic. I don't know that we're seeing that as much. We have a bunch of different tarot adjacent zines and a handful of decks. We have the Gold Liar Tarot and my beloved, which apparently still has a card out from the last time I did a poll, the Divine Deco Tarot by Gerda Eggy. I'm so sorry, I should have looked that up. But like, it's just so beautiful. It's inspired by her Balkan heritage, and I keep pulling the moon. Let's not examine that. But yeah, it's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous deck, and I love to talk about it. We also have a coloring book that goes along with it. And if customers are looking to, get a deck and also learn how to read the cards, we have Dr. Faith's new zine, Unfuck Your Tarot, which briefly can help you. Oh yeah, the magical cats. That's where I was going next. Coming soon. Unfuck Your Tarot is for how to navigate your trauma and your healing journey using tarot. And then one of our very best-selling zines and witchy bestsellers is the Pocket Guide to Tarot Card Archetypes. So it's very much about like not just the guide that comes with the deck, which is always a deck. This deck does not have one today. It's always valuable and you can learn it, but like learning the overarching archetypes and how to pull a card from any deck and interpret its meaning. And you don't want to carry around a big whole thing. It's a lovely little zine. And in that series, we also have a pocket guide to natal astrology and a pocket guide to Earth Arc runes. So there's all kinds of fun stuff in the space, either just about, and it always ends up coming back to like using it to help yourself and help the world. Yes, it's very fun. I love working at a place where I can just sit here and be like, let's talk tarot. Yes, we have the upcoming Pittsburgh tarot deck. I believe there was someone from Pennsylvania in here. That one's going to be super cool too. The art is incredible. here is a very small sampling of some of our other top sellers that did not necessarily fit into specific categories. I wanted to make sure I took a second to call out. Your Cozy Life is so great. It takes Make Your Place and Make It Last, two of Riley Brigg's books, to form a very complete guide to everything you need to consume less and live more in line with who you are and your values. And it's just so lovely. I've been so excited. Like, I wish I had a physical copy. I haven't grabbed one yet, but it's just such a like lovely little addition to a shelf, and it jumps out. I love the illustrations on it. Another one I love talking about is gay sailor tattoos, because I love a zine that tells you exactly what it is, but it is a cool look at the history of like queerness in sailing and tattoos and motifs around that, because like obviously sailors of yore could not be open about who they were necessarily, but there were themes and messages conveyed through their tattoos, and I love it. It's such a cool zine. I'm so thrilled to see how much people have loved it since it came out. Same thing with Upside Down Punks. This one slipped by me because I like to joke that I am the normiest guy on staff, which is so funny to me. But there was apparently a legendary punk show with Fugazi that was booked in like a high school gymnasium, and the basketball hoop got involved. It's a whole thing. I cannot possibly like convey what happens in it, but it's gone a little viral in the punk community and like the DC music circles. But I think it's a great story for everyone. But a lot of our scene histories are, but this has been one of our favorite zines of the year. I also wanted to throw out, like, we have some enamel pins that folks have been loving, and very specifically, we have some stickers that Larry Law designed. And Let's Read Through Books and Overthrow the Government is arguably one of the most 2025 vibes that we could possibly accidentally stumbled into. And there's a bunch of other stuff too, like the This Machine Kills Fascists sticker and pin. And we've seen a lot of folks grabbing these because it is a time to be loud and proud about who you are and what you think, if you can. This is such a hard pivot, but If Animals Could Talk is another one of our bestsellers that I really love to talk about because the story of it is so funny. And I did not know this was actually one of ours when I started here, and it's just so funny. So If Animals Could Talk is a book about animals' internal monologues. It is very cute. Like, you see the hedgehog who has poked a hole in a balloon and says, "Oh shit, my bad." Very much that whole vein. A few years ago, I want to say 2017, here's your little hand-selling backstory for the day. A grandma picked it up for her daughter, not noticing what the book, or her granddaughter, not noticing what the book itself was about. And yeah, it was not a book for kids. That story went viral online. I believe there was a BuzzFeed article on it. I'll link that in my wrap-up email. But every few years, once a year, every couple years, the screenshot, I think, of her talking about it or her daughter talking about it makes the rounds online, gets shared on Facebook, and we just see all of a sudden people are like, "Oh my God, this book." So it's a fun one, both for the backstory of it, because the absurdity of grandma picking it up for her granddaughter, but also because it is a really funny, cute book. There's a companion coloring book. I like it a lot. I love a little humor, like impulse read, just to distract you for a little bit. So if you haven't seen that one, I recommend picking it up and taking a look at it. And I also included How to Be Wrong and How to Not Be a Dick. Those are seeing a very big bump as folks are looking for, and stores are looking for, like, good, quick, like, zine purchases. But How to Be Wrong and How to Not Be a Dick are really great perspective givers, whether it's for you because, we could all learn how to be wrong more gracefully, or you got someone in your life. There's all kinds of fun stuff in there, and I could sit here and talk to you for like 12 hours about all the zines and things we're seeing. This is the tiniest little sampling. I could do. This is me holding it back, and this is already a ton of information. So one of the big morals of this is that we have stuff for everybody right now. And if you aren't already in contact with our sales team, like, they're wonderful humans who know our catalog inside and out and would be happy to make recommendations that fit your store. So a little teaser of what's coming soon, and then a glimpse into our fun, exciting new buyer portal. And then I'll stop blathering at you. But yeah, coming soon. As mentioned in the chat, arguably one of my most favorite releases of the year, in a series of very favorite releases, the Magical Cats Tarot deck. It also has a guidebook and coloring book that tie into it. Thank you, Lindsay. Oh my God, the cats are so chunky. They're so well illustrated. If you check out our website, or when I send out the line sheet, we have previews up of what the cards and the coloring pages look like. It's wild. I'm so excited about this deck. It's so much fun. And it's at a really great competitive price point for tarot decks. I believe it's definitely under $20. I don't have it in my notes for some reason, whereas a lot of really cool decks in the space are like $25 and up. So this is a really good one for folks who are just cat nerds looking to get into tarot, or just illustration fans. Helena's art is so fun and so creative. You can't see the full death card here. It's my favorite one in the deck. Yeah, Death Rides a Pale Frog. It's so good. So that's a fun one. Other fun things, because this isn't just this presentation isn't just about what I love. I have to shout out What Rides at Night. It's the next installment in the Bikes in Space series. Queer, feminist, joyful stories with a Halloween twist. If you don't know the Bikes in Space series, I'm always down to shout it out. I don't know off the top of my head how long it's been around, but I believe What Rides at Night is like our 14th or 15th installment in the series. It's an anthology collection, and each book has kind of a different theme. So This Is Your Bike on Plants was bikes and feminism with a gardening and planty twist. We've had Bikes, the Universe, and Everything, which was more space. Bicycles and Broomsticks with more witchy vein, but all of them come back to feminism and just really good short stories. You do not have to read them in order. It's spooky number 13. That's right. Y'all work in the book space, or you work in retail, you know that we are never on, you never know what day it actually is, because you're always thinking 6 months to a year ahead. So I forgot. That's right. I was mixing it up with the one we just wrapped calls for. Yes. So it's number 13, and every bit I've seen so far, I'm just dying to read it. Other things that are coming out that are cool in the queer and spooky vein, we have a couple other things this year too, but queer horror is fun and there we go. I had to break sometime. Fun and freaky perspectives on macabre media. So we have Gina Brandolino and Joe Carlo, who have also written a little zine a while ago, I believe, of them talking about horror. But this one's very specifically a book that's more conversational in tone, of just queerness in horror media. And yes, it's really great. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but it's one of my topics for the year. Also, since it's fall, we have all kinds of like macabre and spooky and death focused kinds of timing. So Dying to Meet You, it's a little bit of a twist, or a little bit of a departure from stuff we've carried normally, or things that I featured here on this list, but I'm really excited about it. It's Confessions of a Funeral Director. It's basically from, I want to make sure I get her name right. Where did it go? Yeah, Dying to Meet You. Looks into death rituals. It's by Angela May, from Singapore's leading life celebrant. So it's a lot about like the culture of death there and what she's seen and how it's celebrated. And it's such an interesting take, because we have our own systems here, and I'm just so fascinated by seeing how other cultures observe death or moving on as a passage. It's very cool. I'm very excited about it. And then surprisingly, one of the first Dr. Faith books on this list, because we have so many of them. Unfuck Your Holidays is like the big one for me this year, because the holidays are rough, right? Elegant, compassionate, profound, and easy to read. Thank you, Daily. Yes, Dying to Meet You is. But yes, Unfuck Your Holidays is great for any holiday, any family gathering, or just gathering tradition-laden emotional baggage kind of thing. How to navigate that, how to do it on your own terms, how to hold your boundaries. It's just something I think we could all use sometimes. I have a couple of friends who are just like, can I have it yet? Is it done yet? Can I read it? So this is a big one. Some parts of it have been crowdsourced from readers, questions and how they can navigate tough times and getting through the holidays. Yeah, it's fun. I'm really excited for all of these. So before I change to my next slide, we have a very, well, if anybody has any questions about any of the things I've talked about or skimmed past, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Elly is in there and I'm trying to keep an eye on it as best I can too. But yes, so the next thing I wanted to show off, do we have time? I have time, is you've seen all of our books. Now, how do you get them? We have a very exciting new B2B portal launching fairly soon. I think it's in the final stages. Elly so graciously recorded a little 5-minute video of just like what it is and how to navigate it. And I'll send like the full video later today, I believe. But right now, the process, if you want to purchase directly through us, is a little clunky. You can go through our sales team. They're awesome. But if you're doing it directly on our website, it's really on the trickier side to filter through, find your discounts, figure out what it would be for your type of store or library or what have you.
We had early B2B sales starting in like 2000, 2002, something like that. A lot of publishers are starting to catch up with it, and we wanted to give you like even more searching and sortability options. So essentially you'll be able to like log into our site, tell us what kind of store or library you are, what your topics of interest are, what you don't want, what formats you want and don't want. And then we're going to show you basically what our most popular, new, trending, and all-time top-selling titles are in your categories of interest and according to your sort of drill down search for whatever you want. So, you know, like FAIR, you can't search by subject, which has definitely been kind of a pain in the butt of booksellers, publishers everywhere. You can like search by book, but you can't be like, I actually really just want fiction or nonfiction or books about death, and hopefully they're queer books about death. We can help you drill down into those. Yeah. So you can explore our mini books that we publish, books from our publishers that we're exclusive trade distributors of, and books from our vast wholesale catalog that Abby and Daly have the pleasure of managing. So you'll be able to see a little tour of a draft of what it's going to look like. We're planning to launch in the next month or two.
Someone who has worked in other parts of the book industry, it's very freaking cool that we have this coming. I have navigated a lot of buying from other publishers, and it's a little trickier than it needs to be sometimes. And I love how accessible and fun and useful this tool is going to be. Where can you buy from us? As we've said, we're available in a bunch of places. The best way to get in touch with us directly, obviously you probably have an account and you're working with us if you've seen this, if you're on our mailing list, but just in case, hit up our sales team. They're really wonderful folks. But we're also available on Ingram, Fair, Baker and Taylor, Bookazine, the lovely sales reps if you're a bookseller. And if you're a bookseller, we're on Batch, which is awesome. If you're not familiar, it's an invoicing tool for booksellers. It's digital and less clunky. And I love that we were one of the first publishers on it. Where you will not find us, Amazon. We broke up with Amazon. I think it's been 6 or 7 years ago now. So yeah, it's just really cool to be able to like be a publisher who's not involved in that and say, look, we can do it. Anyway, thank you for being here. Last little rants. There's just so many awesome things we sell. I know I've said that a million times, but I really love what we do here. When I was a bookseller, I was very one of my favorite things to say was that Microcosm had something for everyone. And I really do still believe that. And it's really great to see the behind the scenes of the thought and care that goes into everything we do.
Thanks for joining us once again.
Please send your questions to podcast@microcosmpublishing.com so we can answer them on future episodes.
And please give us 5 stars on iTunes and everywhere else that podcasts are reviewed.
You can find us on the internet at microcosm.pub,
On Twitter at Microcosm,
on Facebook at Microcosm Publishing,
on Instagram at Microcosm_pub.
and here in Portland, Oregon on North Williams Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful week.